Good afternoon, hello, my name is Daniel, this is the TriathlonDan YouTube channel, and today's video is quite a serious one, or quite serious for me. I've had an injury, or a couple of injuries for months, and I have now eventually been and had an MRI scan. So in this video, I'm going to share with you what the findings were, what problems were found, how I'm going to resolve them, hopefully how I'm going to go back to running. I'm not going to go through the whole story, but I basically haven't ran for nearly 4 months now. I've had a hip niggle that comes on right at the front of my hip there. I've seen a couple of physios about it and it's just been ongoing. I've never really fully shook it off and it's been getting me down, but eventually I've been and had an MRI scan. Now this video is so serious, in fact, that I've used a whiteboard to write down the long words that I struggle with. So I'm going to talk you through, I'll perhaps put it on screen as well. When you have an MRI scan, you get like a report, and on it there's lots of information. Some of it is useful, some of it isn't. Of course, they're looking at everything in the area that you've indicated. You give them a brief as to what you want to look at, and then they'll just present you that information. So firstly, the first thing that was identified on this scan was a mild borderline coxa valga. So MRI scans look at both muscle and bone, uses waves of some sort. Basically, it's supposed to be the best type of scan for finding out exactly what is going off, either muscular or skeletal wise. So mild borderline coxa valga. This is to do with my hip, and it's to do with hip range of movement. Now, the normal range of movement, so I'm told, is between 115 degrees and 135 degrees, and mine is 135 degrees. So although it's been flagged on this scan as that could be a potential problem, physio advice, and thank you to those physios who I have spoken to, have said I'm right on the limit of normal, which I think we've known for some time anyway, perhaps just straying over it. So don't worry about it, and that's something that would have been there since birth. Like, I've had that for obviously years and years. It's just one of those things, and I don't think that is the cause of any of my problems, but it's just one of the findings of the scan. Points number 2 and 3 were a mild high signal change in the gluteus medius insertion and a moderate oedema under IT band both sides. That doesn't mean anything to me, right? So thank you to both Dan and Ruth I've spoken to for physio advice, and the document does go on to like summarize some findings. So that didn't really mean anything to me other than gluteus medius, I know is bum, and IT band, I know I've seen IT bands on the sides. So the findings were mild rectus origin tendinopathy. So this is, as I understand it, rectus origin. This is towards the top, isn't it? Anyway, it's an overuse injury. All these things are from overuse. There's no stress fracture, there's no fracture, there's no bone problem, which is really reassuring to me. That was one of my big worries, big concerns, that I was going to have an extended period of time of no load and no activity. I'm not so upset about all this sort of thing because I can still keep doing some training and I can actually crack on with the rehab knowing exactly what it is. So these are caused by overuse, and how I fix it is by going through a gradual loading rehab program, stretching and moving bands, etc. I'll come on to that in a minute. And the second point was mild to moderate glute medius tendinopathy and sub-IT band bursitis. So what this essentially is multiple tendons are inflamed and tendinitis, and basically this whole area seems to have been through either bad form or just through doing too much or just through, I don't know, have become overused, and my IT band, my hip muscles, glute, etc., through either weaknesses or through just that overuse, have become inflamed, have become sore, have become tight. So I have to go through an extensive sort of rehab program. Now, some of this is just recovery, just allowing the muscles to recover. Some of it is stretching, so increased flexibility. And some of it is strengthening, so actually making that muscle stronger so that when you go back to doing those things, it can absorb that, take that load, take that impact, and you can continue doing your training. Now, some options I have are I could have an injection in somewhere, either my hip or my bum, I think. That'd be nice, which could aid recovery. I believe it's some sort of steroid injection. Now, I'm not anti-injections, but I do have quite a bad needle phobia. So if I can avoid an injection at all, then I will do. And there's something in me that just thinks I'd rather resolve this sort of thing via my own means, because as I've been told by physios, unless I solve what is causing these problems, they're just going to keep coming up. So if it's a case of that the area isn't strong enough or flexible enough or whatever, I need to do that. So sometimes like a, I don't know, steroid injection or something, a one hit fix might fix you for a few months, but then it's going to come back. So I want to try and resolve that. If I can't make significant progress with that, then yes, I would explore that sort of thing. I'd have to try and, well, whenever I've had to have an injection in the past, I lie down so that I can't pass out because I'm already on the floor. Anyway, now, what's caused this? Now, whilst I think this is just running that has caused this problem, as I've been told, it could be anything. It could be how I'm sitting during the day. It could be how I'm moving around. It could be how I'm driving. It could be how I'm riding. All these things, or just a combination of all the above. So just removing running might not be enough for this to make a full recovery. Now, I never feel it on the bike. My hip never feels any pain on the bike, so I don't think it's that. I do sometimes feel it after I've been sat down for an extended period of time. I stand up, I'm like, oh, I feel that a bit, and then it goes off. So perhaps the sitting is a thing. I've definitely started trying to stand up more at my desk and get up more and flex and move around more. So how am I going to fix all this stuff? Now, I've been through injections now. I've got a home routine nailed now where every morning and every afternoon I'm getting up and I am doing a stretching routine where I'm stretching my hip and glute and IT band and all of that. I'm doing a little bit of foam rolling, but not too much because it does hurt quite a bit, and well, a bit like a beached whale rolling around at the minute. And then I'm also using some resistance bands to really work on trying to strengthen those muscles. So, you know, glute stuff and hip flexor stuff, just to try and make improvements in those areas. I don't know how long that's going to take. There are some things that I can do to try and make it a little bit faster. Dan UK Bike Fit tells me that gelatine is quite good for tendons because that is what they fuel on. So if I was to have like a jelly cube, that's supposed to have been shown or been shown in a couple of studies to benefit tendon recovery. I haven't done that yet, only because I've forgotten to get jelly on the food shop. I'm not against it or anything, so I might try that. But more than anything, I'm nailing the routine. I'm also starting to do more strength work in general. Now, my triathlon coach, Chris Hine at Pure Performance Coaching, does set me strength work. If I'm honest, I struggle to like get motivated to do it, but this sort of thing, you've got to know, is really opening my eyes to how important it is. Not even just pure strength, but just for injury prevention. I am also starting to test an app, which I will talk about on another video, which is all to do with strength and conditioning, and I'm going to be documenting how I'm going through that to see if that gets me excited enough about it to keep doing it. So I'm afraid there's no real like amazing workouts that I can show you that's going to fix this sort of thing. I'm making steady progress. I've not yet tried to run. I'll probably leave it. So I'm now a week on, sorry, no, 2 weeks on from this MRI scan, but a week on also from the actual diagnosis and information. I've been doing this every day and I'm going to continue to do so. I'm going to give it, I think, at least 3 weeks and then try and do some running. I need to have a period of time where you know how long it takes to get a little bit fitter. It is a couple of weeks at least, isn't it, to feel the benefits of some specific exercise. So I'm going to give it at least that. I'm at the point now where I've pretty much lost all my run fitness. I've accepted that and I will just work, you know, to build that back as soon as I can. I want to make sure that the comeback is the comeback, is that I'm not coming and doing part run once and then having another few weeks off, which I did a few weeks ago. So that's basically what I'm doing. That's the diagnosis. Feel free to drop any comments or thoughts down below. As you can tell, I'm not an expert. This is not me sharing a physio opinion because I am not one, but this is how I'm trying to deal with it. It really helps me now, even having that written down in front of me at my desk. I know what I'm working on specifically. I know I need to work on these things, and I'm cracking on as hard as I can because I've got so much planned this year. I can't wait to tell you all about it. I can't wait to show you what I've got planned, but I need to be running to be able to do so. So thank you very much for watching. Hit like and subscribe and all that jazz. Hope you're all fitting well and training well, and I'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock.